sure your mortgage is in order. Go ahead and get that application in process, get your approval, maybe run a value search on the property, make sure you're paying a fair price for it. And actually, you know what? If you want me to, I'll run one of those value reports for you. Just visit freevaluereport.org, freevaluereport.org, and just give us a little info about the property and your email address, and I'll shoot you back the value report on the property, so you'll have an idea of what the fair market value of that property is. So those are the big things. I would lean on a title attorney to write the contract for you, or a real estate attorney rather, to write the contract for you. And most often they'll be affiliated with, or may even own, a title company that can help you close the transaction and then do your due diligence on the mortgage side to get yourself ready. And if you don't have a mortgage guy, I'd be happy to help you. If you do have one, and you just want a second opinion, I'd be happy to do that for you too. But hopefully that helps. Congrats on working this deal out with your landlord. Hey, listen, how awesome is that? You're not going to have to get a moving truck. You're not going to have to get any of those, what do you call it? The new address labels. I don't even know what to call them. But you've got none of those headaches of moving in your future. So congrats on that. And hopefully that answered your question, and I'm happy to help you more if you need it. You can call us anytime at 561-291-8569. So let's throw it over to Dom and see if we have any other questions. What do we have, Dom?
All righty. We have Jody, who is asking, the house I'm buying should be worth around $425,000, but I'm getting it for $375,000. Can I show the extra $50K as a down payment? I'm trying not to put any cash in the deal.
Hey, Jody, that's an interesting question. And first, let me congratulate you on finding a deal in this market, because a lot of people are running around out there saying that there are no deals left in real estate and that it's not a good time to buy because you're overpaying for everything. And here's an example of somebody who, maybe by chance, maybe by skillful negotiation, who knows, but it looks like Jody found a great opportunity even in this market. So that is super cool. But to answer your question, I don't know that I'm completely understanding it. If you're looking for a strategy that's, kind of like a shell game where you're just pushing the numbers around the paper so that it appears that you have $50,000 in the deal, that's nothing that I can advise you on doing. I mean, I would strongly suggest you don't, because I think that's illegal. Now, if the seller is a relative and the property truly appraises at $425,000, they could gift you the $50,000 in equity. So you're just bringing the $375,000 to the table in the form of a cash or a loan. That's doable. A $425,000 purchase, assuming the property does appraise for that, with a $50,000 gift of equity may be a way to make it work, but that would have to be, a relative that's gifting you the equity. But as far as just kind of pulling that old, I don't want to imply that you're trying to do anything illegal, because I understand the logic behind the question, but I don't know of a legal way to do that outside of, as I described, with the gift of equity strategy. So hopefully that helps. If you have further questions on that, just hit us on the Anytime hotline, 561-291-8569. And you hear the music. We're heading into a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey, it's mark-eitel here, host of the Mr. Mortgage Show. And you've heard me talk about the valuation tool that we use in our lending practice almost daily. It's not quite an appraisal, but it's way more accurate than one of those online estimates. And we're happy to run one of those reports for you at no charge. Just visit freevaluereport.org. That's freevaluereport.org. Give us a little information about the property, and we'll be happy to send you your report. That's freevaluereport.org.
Here's another 5-star review.
As a realtor, I have a bunch of mortgage brokers to choose from, but I prefer to work with Mark and his Mr. Mortgage team. In this crazy market, there is no room for error, especially on the mortgage side. Mark's team moves fast, keeps everybody in the loop, and makes things happen. They always give my clients a great deal and take the time to walk them through every step of the process. When you're considering a lender, I encourage you to talk to Mark-eitel and the Mr. Mortgage team.
Hey, it's mark-eitel, host of the Mr. Mortgage Show. You hear me all the time talking about the need to have the very best team representing you in a real estate transaction. And that starts with a really great agent. If you've got a great agent, that's awesome. But if you don't, check out www.reallyGreatAgents.com. There you'll find the best of the best, regardless of the city they work in or the brokerage they work for. www.reallyGreatAgents.com. www.reallyGreatAgents.com.
Are inflation and everyday expenses eating into your retirement income? Maybe you've considered a reverse mortgage and have unanswered questions like, do I still own my property? Can the bank kick me out? What happens when I die? Can I still leave my house to my kids? These are all great questions. Visit www.moreaboutreverse.com to learn more. That's www.moreaboutreverse.com. www.moreaboutreverse.com.
Welcome back to the Mr. Mortgage Show. Call us now, 561-291-8569.
All right, we are back. My name is Mark Eitel. This is the Mr. Mortgage Show, and you heard the man. You can get your questions on the air right now today by calling 561-291-8569. That's 561-291-8569. Or if you're not comfortable calling in, you can shoot a text to that same number, 561-291-8569, or do it the old-fashioned way. Visit www.mr.mortgage. That's mr.mortgage, never a .com. And there you'll be able to submit your questions right through the website, mr.mortgage. So speaking of questions, we've had some really good ones so far today. And a lot of people are kind of, I can tell by the questions that we're getting, a lot of people are concerned that, this shifting market might mean that it's better to hold off. But hopefully we've dispelled that myth and given you the resources you need to be confident in your decisions moving forward. But anyway, let's throw it back over to Dom and see if we've got any additional questions teed up. Do we have anything, Dom?
Nancy just sent us an email. She's asking, I've heard you talk about the difference in this bubble versus last time. I just saw an ad run for a stated income interest only loan. Is history repeating itself?
Okay. Yes, Nancy, I've seen those ads as well. And it does feel eerily similar to last time, doesn't it? The interest only loans and the 40-year amortization. But that particular loan program, as I've seen it advertised, and we do have a program like that available through our practice, but it's designed for investors. So another big difference with that loan product is it requires a down payment of usually between 20 and 25%. That's a huge difference between now and back then. Back then, you could use an interest-only loan, often with stated income and stated assets to qualify, which was horrifying looking back on it, to 100% of the purchase of a primary residence. And that's where it was super dangerous because people were buying homes they couldn't afford and using these loan products to get them approved. The difference this time around is that loan is designed for an investor who's putting 20% down, and we're looking at the cash flow of the property to make sure it can support the debt service on that particular loan product. So the income component is being verified in the sense that we're looking at the rent rolls of the property. So great eye for spotting that and pointing out the similarities between the bubble burst, but I don't feel that it's an indicator that we're heading down that path by any means. And we watch just about everything. When the temperature changes and the wind blows, the hair on my arm stands up, and I wonder if this is an indication of a market change. So we watch everything pretty closely, and I appreciate your question. Dom, do we have any other questions?
We just got a text from Todd. Todd's asking, I caught the tail end of you talking about investments and assets for income without having to sell them. Can you explain? This might work for me.
Hey, Todd, I think what you're talking about, and that's a great question. Thank you for it. I think what you're talking about was last week we were talking about, we were specifically talking about crypto, but we mentioned that we utilized an asset depletion calculation to derive a monthly income from somebody's cash holdings. I'm sorry, non-cash holdings. And, well, actually it would work for cash holdings too. But anyway, let me explain. I'm sidetracking myself now, but let me explain how it works. So this is designed for somebody who has significant assets, but perhaps doesn't have a lot of income. So you might have a big retirement account, you might have a big IRA, and you get Social Security or disability or some other income, or maybe you just have a part-time job. It's not uncommon. So there's a multiplier that can be applied to your IRA and your retirement accounts to determine what monthly income could be derived from pulling assets out or pulling cash out of those accounts. So that's why it's called the asset depletion calculation. You don't have to pull the money out. We just say, okay, he's got X amount of dollars, and that means, he could have a monthly income of Y derived from pulling money out monthly. So hopefully that helps. It's a wonderful opportunity for people who are retired or have other forms of income, but have significant assets that they can utilize as the assets necessary to use that depletion model. So I know that's not a very clear question because I need a little more information. I'd love to talk to you in detail about it and encourage you to give us a shout. 561-291-8569 is the Anytime hotline. So hopefully that helps. The really cool part about that is you don't have to withdraw your money from your accounts to make that work. So there's some other strategies around that too, where you can set up distributions and that can qualify you also. Sometimes that's advantageous, but I'm happy to walk you through the details regarding that strategy. It just might take a little more of a conversation than we have time for at the moment. So I'd encourage you to reach out to us. So thanks again for your question. What else do we have, Dom?
Jessica just sent in this one. She's asking, can I count my alimony and child support as income on my application?
Okay, Jessica, the good news is yes, you can. Here's the caveat. We need to be able to look back 2 years. So we need to verify that you've received it for the last 2 years, and that through the marital settlement agreement, we're able to confirm that you will receive it for the next 3 years. So looking back 2 and looking forward 3 years, if we're able to confirm that that income is going to remain in place and has been paid on time in accordance with the MSA for the last 2 years, then yes, you can use that. Absolutely. Make sure that that's getting recorded by being deposited in your account. We had a situation, and this is a real situation, where the husband was paying the alimony in cash and we were not able to verify that. So confirm through your MSA, So we will confirm by looking through your marital settlement agreement that the amounts and the timelines of the required payments, and then confirm that you've received them for 2 years and that you will receive them for the next 3, and then he would have had to pay them on time, then we can use them. Absolutely. So great question. And if you have more questions surrounding that, please give us a shout. 561-291-8569 is the Anytime hotline. So out of breath. Let me throw it back to Dom for another question.
Tammy emailed us this. She's asking, we've been thinking of doing a refinance so we can remodel the house. Can we pay off some bills at the same time?
Hey, Tammy, thank you for your question. Yes, you can pull cash out and pay debt off, and then also use that cash for your remodel. There's no restrictions on that. You can do it in the same cash out refinance. So where there may be a little confusion, a few shows ago, I was talking about a loan program that was designed for like a major remodel where you're putting a big addition on your house, and that particular loan works almost like a construction to perm loan where, you're refinancing your mortgage position, but you're also paying out your contractors as your project is going on. That one's a little more complicated. I'm not saying you can't pay your debt off with that, but you might have to pay the debt off at closing to make that work. But yes, to answer your question, you can pay off credit cards, you can pay off car payments, motorcycle payments, boat payments, whatever you have. You can pay off all of that consumer debt, as we call it, as well as use the remaining cash out for your remodel project. So I hope that helps. That was a great question, but we're going to continue answering your questions. But before we do, I just got a text via the Anytime hotline, and I wanted to answer it real quick. The data from this week's show will